If you follow me on Twitter and you follow Lab every day on Twitter, you probably seen retweets and posts from Ernest, Cisco Panther, on Twitter. He just got his CCNP and he wants to share his journey with you all on YouTube. And I'm so happy to bring him on. What's good, Ernest?
Yo, Duan, thank you for bringing me on. I'm happy to be here. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I've been working hard to get to this place. Like, it's been my goal to get the CCNP this year, and I put in that work and it paid off. Thank you so much for letting me be here today.
Hey, no problem, man. You definitely put in that work because I see you not only sharing information but helping other people and doing whatever you can to inspire. And it's been inspirational to me, bro.
Yeah, that's what this lab every day is all about. I learn it from you, and I believe that we can only rise by lifting each other.
No doubt, no doubt. Originally, you're from Nigeria, right?
Yeah, I'm from Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah, to Africa.
Shout out to Africa. All right, so currently you're living in the East Coast, and let's start from the beginning about your journey and what got you into networking and all that. I'll let you just share, bro.
Yeah, I went to University of Nigeria and I studied computer science. Yeah, I have a bachelor's in computer science. So upon graduation, I joined a company that does networking. So during that time at the company, I was a junior network engineer, and you know how it is, the senior network engineers, they do all the configurations and the documentation, and they just pass it down to us to do some just copy and paste on the devices. And then we set up the computers, we run the cables, and we join the computers to the domain. So when I was doing all that, I had this passion to know how they come up with these documents that they pass down to us. So that was what got my interest. And so I started looking, I started asking questions, I started going to the senior network engineers. I told them I want to know what they're doing, I want to learn. And so one of them introduced me to CBT Nuggets back in Nigeria. So that was when I started looking, so that when I'm copying and pasting something on the device, I wanted to know what I'm trying to achieve.
Okay.
So that was how I started learning about networks.
Okay, I think it's being in that type of opportunity to where you basically had senior network engineers as your mentors. So that I know that was some great experience that you got.
Yes. I was there for 3 years and 10 months.
Oh man, that's boots on the ground, man. Shout out to you, bro. Yeah. All right, so right now you just achieved your CCNP. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Could you share your journey to achieving your CCNP, how long it took, the struggles, and everything that you faced along that journey?
First of all, when I got to the United States, I knew that for me to break into this industry in the United States, I needed more, apart from the experience I got from working in the network industry back in Nigeria. So I started looking for resources to start my journey. So I remember I went to a school somewhere here in New Jersey to enroll for CCNA classes and CCNP. It was going to be a 1-year program, and they charged me $21,000 for the 1-year course. And I told my wife, like, we're not doing this. I mean, so I left and I started looking on YouTube. Then I saw you and I saw Network Chuck, and you were talking about how to do it yourself, like get a home lab, get the books, read. And so I talked to myself, I'm like, I can do this. So I got GNS3 and I got the books, and that was how it began. I started from ICND1 because I remember Network Check advised us to go the two exam part, not to do the composite exam. So I did the ICND one, and I studied for 3 hours every day for 3 months. So
Okay.
I started January, and I wrote the ICND one March. And then as soon as I finished the ICND one, I started the ICND two, and I wrote the second exam June.
Okay, so it took you about 6 months to achieve the CCNA.
Yeah, six
Oh,
months.
okay, but you had a little experience and understanding behind that, though, right?
Yes, I did. I did.
Okay, so for someone that may be looking to get the CCNA in the same process as you study for 3 hours a day. How did you take notes and all that good stuff?
I did the old traditional way. I wrote on my books. Like I wrote the notes with pen and paper. I didn't go the digital way. I just made my note, and when it's I'm close to the exam, I go back to read my notes. So I basically took the traditional way of writing notes down.
Okay, cool. So once you got your CCNA, your progression to getting your CCNP, how do you what made you decide to go on to the CCNP?
What made me decide to go on CCNP is that when I was looking at the topics on the CCNP, I came to find out that it was just they started adding a little bit to the technologies that we already learned in the CCNA. So I wanted to know more because when I looked at the exam topics for the courses in the CCNP, I'm like, I really need to know this because it's like we just got the foundation in CCNA. So I wanted to know more. That's why I decided to go for the CCNP. Take, for example, OSPF. They didn't go much on OSPF stub areas on the CCNA.
Right.
But when you get to the CCNP, they start introducing you to the LSA types and all that. So all that good stuff made me I wanted to know more. That's why I went for the CCNP.
And man, I was in the same boat. I was working in my position, and a lot of the stuff that I was actually implementing was on the CCNP. So once I got my CCNA and I started looking at it, I came to the same conclusion as you. It just builds on it a
Yeah,
little bit more. You go deeper.
yeah, you go deeper. That's it.
Yeah. So what the one thing that I did find in the CCNP, and I want your thoughts on this,
Yeah,
is it didn't really go as deep as I wanted it to in BGP. What are your thoughts?
yeah. I think Cisco really took a lot of the BGP stuff and reserved it for CCIE because they go so deep in BGP and QoS, quality of service, in the CCIE. So I think they have a step-by-step way of getting you into these technologies. So I think that's why they didn't go that deep on BGP because I think bulk of the BGP topics they moved it to the CCIE level. That's
You,
my thoughts.
You know what? And I could see that because as a network engineer, oftentimes that perimeter edge or that wedge, the WAN engineer is the CCIE that actually designs the MPLS or whatever you may have. So I can understand why you would say that. Um, but for someone that has a CCNP to be able to troubleshoot BGP, I would like it for it to go deeper. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most times it's personal. Like I knew when I was preparing for my route exam, I took the CCIE courses because I saw that they left some things out in the BGP, like the reflectors and the communities, stuff like that. I did go to a CCIE training video to get some materials and just know more. So I was just doing it for personal reasons, not really to pass the exam. I really wanted to know what BGP was all about.
Hey, you make a great point about watching the CCIE level videos to prepare for the CCNP. That's very helpful. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
It was very very helpful because I got deeper understanding. And when I came back to the CCNP videos, when they explained the technology, I get to understand it more. The light bulb just went on because I already got a perspective of a CCIE level understanding, and then coming back to listen the CCNP level, I got a better understanding of the technology.
No doubt, no doubt. So the resources that you use to achieve your CCNP, you want to talk about that?
Sure. My first go to it was CBT Nuggets. So I use CBT Nuggets videos. I use INE, and I use Chris Bryan too.
Right.
Yeah, Chris Bryan Bootcamp. I did that, and I got the books from Cisco Press, the official SOC guide. And then another thing that helped me a lot was the Cisco PDF. Like, you know, the press release they have on the website for the technologies they're putting out there. So
Oh yeah.
I did read those documents, and it helped me a lot.
It's funny you say that, because a lot of the technologies that we learn and we read from these books, Cisco actually releases it for free.
Yes.
Cisco.com or Cisco Learning Network, or somewhere you can find the documentation on everything that's listed in these books.
Yeah, I did make use of those resources, and it was really, really helpful.
That's what's up. Now, as far as the labbing for these CCNP,
I did it was virtual all the way. I did virtual all the way.
See, that's, go ahead.
It gave me a lot of time. Like, I don't have to worry about cables and devices and, you know, upgrades. Like, it gave me time to just get in and start learning. I'm getting devices right now because I really know what to do with them. So
that's funny, because virtual is the way to go.
yeah.
For me, I had my home lab and I just kept it on all the time. So whenever I came home, I just either SSH into my network, or I consoled in. So I had DMVPN always running. I had my VSS and HSRP always running. You know what I mean? So, but when I was on the go, GNS3 was the go-to in order to lab. How many hours a day did you spend labbing?
When I'm just labbing, sometimes I go over 6 hours because you know it's fun. When you're doing it, you lose track of time.
Yeah.
But when I'm just doing like the book studies, I go 4 to 5 hours every day.
Okay, so here's a question. When I was labbing for my CCNP, in the beginning, I had trouble because I was trying to integrate so many other technologies that wasn't related to my CCNP, like setting up a server or setting up other devices to be a part of my network. Like when I was working on CCNA security, I'm trying to set up ICE and all these things that's not related to what I'm actually focused on. Did you have that trouble?
Yeah, I had that trouble because you know, when you're looking at the job posting and you see all the requirements that the employers are looking for, you tend to digress a little bit, trying to learn so many other things. So I had that trouble too, like going to learn Microsoft Visio, to do network diagrams. Like I did all that stuff. I got distracted sometimes by other technologies.
So how did you get back on focus, and how did you keep your focus? Because essentially you got your CCNP in less than a year. That take a high level of focus. How'd you maintain that?
Yeah, the way I did it was I had a timeline. This guy again, Jorge, his name on YouTube.
Jorge Alzamon.
Yeah, Jorge has this 18 months plan of being a high paid network engineer.
Okay.
He had this whole video. So
you're talking. I'm sorry, not Jorge Alzamon. You're talking about the Network Engineer Academy.
yes.
Yeah, shout out to him, man. Yeah.
Network Engineer Academy. He had this 18 months program. Like he laid it out how you the certifications to get to be a high paid network engineer. So I kind of modeled what he said in that YouTube video. I wrote it down for myself, this is where I want to be at this point of the year. So I had a timeline. So I knew I was gonna spend 6 months studying for the CCNA, and then I knew I was gonna put in another 6 months for the CCNP. So I already put the date down when I'm gonna take the exam. So I was working on the timeline. I took it as a project, and I wasn't gonna give room to anything to stop me from focusing on the project. And my wife was very, very supportive. Yeah.
Teamwork make the dream work. Shout out to the wife, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Hey, so before we move on from this topic of the CCNP, a question that I have to ask that I get asked a lot is that which exam would you recommend someone pursuing first when they're pursuing the CCNP?
From my experience, I think it's better for you to get the route first.
Uh-huh.
I see so many people go for the switch first because the exam topics are like half of what you see in the route. But I think for me, I did the route first, and after I did the route, it was like 50% of the exam was off me, like the CCNP,
Mhm.
because the route has a lot of topics. Like I always say, the route is like the mini CCIE of CCNP. Yeah, that's how I try to talk about the route. So I think if you can put in that work and get the route out of the way, the rest too is gonna be breezy for you, like the switch and the troubleshooting, because they're basically interrelated. The switch and troubleshooting.
I see. I see. Huh.
First,
Okay, I feel you. I took the OSI model approach. I started from the bottom up.
I took the divide and conquer.
Yeah, I feel you. Hey, that's what's up. Okay, so now that you've knocked out your CCNP, what's next for you as far as the technology you want to learn and what you want to do?
Right now I'm focused on learning stuff on automation, going on DevNet and reading up materials that they have up there, and learning Python and how to push configurations to devices. And it's pretty fun for me because it feels good that something that you can achieve in 1 month, you can do it in 1 week with lines of codes. So it's pretty interesting to me to learn Python and all this automation technologies that is out there for free right now, because Cisco has a lot of technologies out there for free for you to learn. So definitely it was really a good experience for me because I'm always there every morning trying to learn new stuff. Shout out to Preston.
Yeah, Preston is putting out a lot of dope information.
Yeah.
And for those of you that are watching this interview with Ernest, what I'm going to do in the description, I'm going to put a link to Cisco DevNet. I'm going to put a link to the DevNet YouTube channel because they just put out a great playlist about SD-WAN, and along with Preston's, I think what is it, HS Preston at
HF Preston, at HF Preston on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm gonna shout him out on Twitter. He's a CCIE putting out a lot of great information. One thing I want to ask you about DevNet. Have you been on DevNet Sandbox.cisco.com?
Yeah, I've been on the Sandbox, and I was able to use the VPN and actually logged in, and I've been on the Sandbox.
Yeah. So for those of you that are wondering about the Sandbox, a lot of the new technologies that Cisco is creating in the development realm, they actually have sandboxes that you can log into. Some of them are read only, and just explore. It's pretty dope. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I was up there the other day looking at Cisco Prime.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was just looking around and seeing what they're trying to do and achieve with the codes they had up there. So it's a pretty good experience for anyone who goes up there to see what is going on in the automation world, because that's where everything is going right now.
Yeah, true story. And when he mentions about code, he's talking about automation with APIs and netconf and all that stuff, right?
Yes, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Basically, like you mentioned, I saw your Twitter post the other day. You said when you finish your CCNA, the what to do is to take your lab and then use Python to automate everything you did in your CCNA, and that's what I'm doing right now with all the labs I did for my CCNP. I'm trying to automate everything on Python.
Yeah, man. I don't. To me, there's three technologies right now that are going to stand you that to set you apart from any other network engineer when you're getting into the field and when you're trying to get to that next level, and that's going to be Python automation, Ansible, something along being able to write code basically to script processes,
Yeah.
SD-WAN, and ICE. To me, those top three right there, if you can understand those with Cisco DNA, you're going to be leaps and bounds above other engineers that you're competing against.
You know the good thing about this automation thing is people. I think people don't really understand what it's all about. They think you have to write all these codes by yourself.
Right.
It's having an understanding of what Python is doing because most of this code has already been written. You just have to import and know where to get the libraries and the, all these things have been already pre-done for you. So you have APIs. You just like I'll say Napalm. You
Yeah.
know Napalm
Yeah.
and NetMicro. It's a lot of good stuff. You just have to use the functions that they already created to work on your own code.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was watching a video by I think it's Hank Preston is actually his name. I was watching a video he posted on YouTube. It was like an hour stream, and he was talking about Python automation and the reason why we're going away from the CLI is because you can't do basically API calls to pull information. Basically, when you pull the information from a device, like let's say you do show running config
Yeah.
or you do show interface, it's just going to come back in a whole bunch of information that you actually have to parse through.
Yes. Yes.
Rather than when it goes to that centralized and you can go to a web page to pull the information or
Yeah.
whatever, you could take it from there and the information is already in the dictionary.
Mm-hmm. And then the JSON try to make it readable for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, once you pass it through JSON, it becomes in human readable form.
Right. And you can just throw it in the dictionary and use it just like that without parsing it
Like,
because I often have to do with regular expressions to get the information out that I want. And
yeah,
that's the most annoying thing, especially if let's say you're working on a 2921 and then you actually go to like a 2960 or something like that. And the code is different. So the same regular expression you wrote on this code isn't
yeah,
going to work in this one.
not gonna work. So at that point, you have to compare the devices, and you create a list of devices. If it's this device, then run this code. If it's
Exactly.
run this code, stuff like that.
Yeah, and then you gotta have try blocks in there just in case it's neither one.
Yeah,
So it gets fun, man, but you learn a lot. The more you dive in,
yeah.
especially in your position, you're in a great position, bro.
Thank you, man.
So what's your ultimate goal as far as your career?
2019, I'm going for the CCIE. I'm starting January 2019. I'm going for that CCIE straight up.
That's what's up, man. That's motivation right there. That's motivation.
Yeah, I mean, I believe I can do it.
I believe you can too, man.
That's all it takes. I believe I can do it. So I'm gonna just dive in. I
That's
pray a lot, so I have faith I can do it.
Hey, you touching on a great topic.
Yeah.
Prayer and faith, having both of those, and then you got a strong woman behind you too that
Yeah.
supports you.
It's all the way in. We pray, we fast for these things. Before my CCNP, I had prayed a lot and did a lot of spiritual work apart from the reading and the labbing. I had to put God first too because you might get all this understanding and then you get into the exam and something happens and you don't come out with that pass and you don't know why. So I had to make sure every stone is on top, is touched right there.
That's what's up, man. Hey, man, your story, your journey is inspirational. You know, following you, connecting with you has been a blessing.
Thank you, man.
I'm praying that 2019 you get that CCIE, you get the position that you desire, and you become everything and more that you envision yourself to be, bro.
Sure.
No
And
doubt.
I want to also thank you for everything you're doing for the community. Like, you give you a lot of time, because time is something you can't get back. And I thank you for having all this time to like help others, like reply to text messages, retweets, like look at what other people are doing and try to support and help, and going the extra mile to research on these technologies and passing down information is really, really inspirational. And I want to thank you for that. It's not easy.
Uh, Thanks, man. You know, whatever I can do to help is what I'm about.
Sure.
So I want to wrap up this interview, but before I do, what I want to, do is give you an opportunity to share with those coming behind you um, your advice, knowledge, wisdom, or whatnot.
What I would say is, one thing that hit me that you said when I was starting my journey is, you said that if you do something every day, it's gonna become second nature. And that's what I've done all this year. Like every day I wake up, I do lab. Like every day I wake up. So if you wake me up in my sleep, I can stand up OSPF, EIGRP, BGP. And when I look at the config, I know what is going on. So I did it every day, every day, every day. I kept building on it. I kept going back. Like take for instance my T-shoot lab. I I basically built that topology for the exam almost 30 times.
Right.
I
And you
did
should. Yeah.
I did build that topology 30 times. I knew what was gonna go wrong at every part of the network. So my advice is, if you want to be in this industry, you got to lab every day. That's the way to go. When you're reading the books for the understanding of the technology, you still got to lab every day. That's the understanding. Once you do it every day, it's gonna become second nature.
Man, true story, man. True story.
That's it.
It's when I understood that and I applied it to my life changed.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in a position now where my life is changing again. It's going to the next level, and it requires a whole nother level of understanding and faith. And
Yeah.
so all you got to do really is just embrace the journey. Everything that comes to you, know that it's going to make you stronger and make you better. And you're doing just that.
Yeah, like I get excited when I'm sitting down with my wife and somebody call me on the phone, and they be like, "Oh, I'm labbing up HSRP and I'm having this problem," and I tell them everything about HSRP on the phone. Like I go from top to bottom, tell them the timers, what could go wrong, how the failover happens. Like I feel good when I do that,
Right.
because I know in myself that, yo, you understand this technology right now to spit it out on the phone. And when I'm on a text message, I'm telling somebody how GLBP works. Like those stuff inspire me to do more, because I know right now, because they said if you can teach something, then you've understood it.
Yes,
So
sir.
I see myself teaching other people and helping them understand. Just like last night I was sitting down with Dario. You know Dario, right?
Daria.
Dario, the other guy, he's here in New Jersey. I think his Twitter name is at
Oh, Daryl.
Live. Yeah, Dario. Yeah.
Yeah. I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I was sitting down with him the other day. He was studying for his switch exam, and we got on the topic of subnetting, and I showed him my own way of subnetting, and he was very glad because it was fast, and he was so happy. He said he hasn't seen anybody do subnetting like that, and he understood it more, and he's never gonna forget. So stuff like that is what I derive joy from,
Yes, sir.
trying to impact other people and and learn too from other people.
Facts, man. Keep doing that, man. We need more people sharing that knowledge and just helping the next generation. So shout out to you, man. Keep going, bro.
Thanks, my man.
Hey, if there's anything that you need from me, you already know you can hit me up, and I'll do my best to help you, man.
And I want to shout out to my mentor at Tech Lady. She helped my journey a lot.
Erica.
Yeah, Erica.
Shout out to Erica.
Shout out to Erica.
Yeah, shout out to Erica. Shout out to Daryl. Shout out to Kelvin.
Yeah, Kelvin. Tony.
Antonio. Yes.
Antonio. Yeah. And the ultimate shout out to my wife, because I wouldn't be here doing all this technology stuff without her support. She held it down while I was putting in the work.
Hey, man, that's what it's all about. I say it all the time. Teamwork make the dream work.
Yes, sir.
So, hey, man, we're going to wrap up this interview. I thank you for coming on.
Thank you much.
If you need anything from me, hit me up, man.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
Yep.
Yeah, bye.